This is going to be fascinating for some people, so pay attention. For other people, maybe not so much. I'm going to explain the audio review world to you in very simple terms. Coca-Cola is a manufacturer. Coca-Cola makes Coca-Cola. They make other stuff, but let's just stick with Coca-Cola. 7-Eleven is a seller. 7-Eleven, they sell goods from many manufacturers. Their goal is to get the items that are popular to you, or they estimate will be popular to you, and get it in an order number that is going to make it come in and go out very rapidly so that they can continue the cycle. Items sitting on shelves make no money. They don't want that. That's wasting space and losing money at the same time. They don't want to do that. So their goals are to get items and to get them out quick, and they offer lots of things to the public via contracts with manufacturers. Coca-Cola's one and only goal related to Coca-Cola, the soft drink, is to sell Coca-Cola. To make Coca-Cola wonderful and something that you want to put in your hand. 7-Eleven also wants to get it in your hand, but if you were to choose other things instead of Coca-Cola, they would just adjust their purchase order the next time. They don't really care if you like Coca-Cola or not. They want to provide to you the things that you decided that you want or look like you're going to want. So they have very different levels of investment financially, and also in any other way, emotional or something like that. That seems clear, right? Coca-Cola wants to sell Coca-Cola. They want to put it in your hand. That's their one and only goal. 7-Eleven wants you to buy Coca-Cola that's on their shelves, and if you purchase other items, then they want to buy that item so that you purchase from them. They're not stuck to Coca-Cola beyond a contract, which they can adjust, and business stuff. So, and they have different teams. The Coca-Cola has salary people, and they're paid to do the bidding of Coca-Cola. And 7-Eleven has their own people that are paid to do the bidding of 7-Eleven. Go into the audio review world, and you see the same model. You've got the manufacturer, let's say Ibeso. Ibeso's one and only goal is that Ibeso items get sold. Not another brand, not a Canon, not a Lotu, not a Fio, Ibeso. That is what they want. There is no, that's obvious. This is business. That they're not interested in promoting another brand. They're not interested in being compared with another brand. They want their item to be highlighted, and ideally enthusiastically highlighted. People who they choose to do so have a track record and a history of doing that exactly, of doing very little harm and doing a lot of promotional stuff. The fascination recently was with the Ibeso 220 being compared with stuff. It happens today with things that are in the $2,000, $3,000 range. That everybody's fine with that. When it gets compared with something that's half its price, everybody starts talking about price brackets. And then somebody like Portify starts to talk about illogical, and you can see that some people receive stuff, and because there's low, mid, and upper tiers, they see it in that lens, and they don't see it in just the music. It's automatically, of course, something's more expensive. It's a better quality. If you've been in any kind of a hobby for any period of time, you know that that's not the case. But they are tied to these companies, and it behooves them to do as good as they can, to sell as hard as they can, so that this item moves. And the next time they have another item, they contact that person again. This is a different list. And these are companies that friends of Ibeso, Empire Ears, Campfire Audio, etc. I name these three because I had interactions with them that were clearly Campfire Audio, Empire Ears. If you don't follow the company line, the next time an item comes out, you are not contacted. When you deal with a seller, that's not the case. The seller, like 7-Eleven, wants items to come in and to go out. That's their goal. They have a connection to this company, but they have their own team. They are a separate entity from them. Their goal is to get this out because it's theirs. It was helped, created, designed. They paid people money to make this thing. They pass it to people who they trust. Now, trusting those people means that they're going to do things that some people would look at and say, that's kind of shady. Well, it's business. And it happens all the time. In the audio realm, this is just what happens. A seller, again, they get items and they want to move it. If they order 200, they ideally like to be opening the box when it's delivered and putting it into boxes to people that bought it. Like, let's say they get a delivery of 200 and they've already sold 122 of them. That's good times. They're getting it in and out as fast as they can. Their level of attachment to the words that are said by promoters. I'm not, fuck reviewers, there's really no reviewers. Promoters, which is what I am. And I promote some stuff and I don't promote others. I hype things because I have no fucking shame in loving things that make me fail good because they play good music. If I were to say something negative about a company, most any manufacturer, I've damaged myself. If I were to say something about the same item that I got through a seller, you wouldn't get the same damage because they're not vested like these people are. They want to put something in your hand, and whatever that is, they want to buy that and put it on the shelf and then put it in your hand. They do that via people that promote like myself. They take an item, that all sellers do this, and send it to somebody, and then, what do you think? I think it's a disaster, and I don't think that, this is my opinion, this is going to work. Or, what do you think? I think this is a winner. They've got multiple versions, they've got multiple customization possibilities. People can make it their own, unique. It's reasonable, performance is great. I think this has potential to do good sales. And then they make requests of the manufacturer and make purchase orders. So if somebody in this side says, this kind of sucks, this Opus number 2 doesn't have streaming like it was supposed to have, they wouldn't get it the next time. But the thing is that when the shop sells it and the customer says, I don't have streaming on my Opus number 2, what's up with that? Then they say, oh, we're in, because they're connected. I contacted, Opus by private message, and they assured us that the first or second firmware is going to update so that it does have streaming. Wasn't really talked about by the people because that's a really bad light for Opus, because that was their flagship, and at that time in 2015-16, that was a big deal to have streaming, and it didn't have it, and these people skipped over it. They updated their reviews later and edited it because I was paying attention, because I have OCD, and I noticed little things, and I thought, that's not cool, that's not cool. And there was no apologies given. They just updated their pros and cons, little bubbles right there. But it was brought up by customers, actually, not by, because they were protecting Opus, is what they were doing. My thing since last September, October, November, when I saw what happened with DM6, was I said to the seller, minimize your, promotion outside of the fact that you need to appeal to, YouTube, you need to appeal to bloggers, you need to appeal to multiple language. Instead of sending 3 or 4 items to HeadFi, it's redundant. HeadFi's value is quite limited, really is. Drill down data by these companies, I've already been told, it's not what it was after the switch over to the new platform. So sending multiple units to people that are going to be occupying the same thread seems to be pointless. Why would you do that? Send it to a few people, somebody that speaks Spanish, because that's how many people in the world speak Spanish? More than any other language, maybe. You need somebody that does that. You need somebody on YouTube. You need a YouTuber that does another language. Get it out there just so that it's known and can be seen or read, and then try to get it to the customers as soon as you can, because their word is going to be the one that makes something sink or swim. And if you have a bunch of people saying, it's awesome, it's awesome, it's awesome, and then the public starts to come in and say another thing, that this item will be dead. And then you lose the faith of the people that were on your team, because it didn't turn out to be as fantastic as it was stated. Me personally, have no shame. I love items, I promote it to the hilt, but when I'm asked questions by a seller, what do you think? I will say, personally, I love it a lot. This could be something that is maybe not found the graph, it looks a little bit unique. People are going to make decisions based on that. Or I'll give the opposite, which would be like you can customize it. It sounds good. The price is reasonable. This would be something that would... Fearless Audio was a company that I said, nobody knew about it till I put my first video up, and I said right away, I said, this company is going to be well known very quickly. They've got multiple types, multiple quality, multiple price brackets, and they've got infinite customization. You're hitting a lot of targets here by a single company, and quality control at that period until now seems to be really, really good. I think that they're going to do good. They would, as a seller, make purchase requests. So their goal is to put items in your hand, but what item that is not really that important. They want whatever you think is going to be, whatever you want, whatever they think that you're gonna want. They want to check that out. That's why they don't promote so much to get sales. They promote to get the feedback for them to make the purchases of what you're gonna want. Can you understand? It's exactly the same as 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven doesn't really give a fuck if you're drinking Coca-Cola or if you're drinking something else. They want you to buy shit from their shop. And what that shit is not that important to them. If it's Coca-Cola, it's Coca-Cola. If it's something else, it's something else. They don't really care. They want you to buy from them. Same. They don't really care if you buy this, but they want you to buy from them. So their goal is to get feedback and to find out what is the items that you are going to buy and get stuff off of their shelf so that they don't need to do discounts and special sales to sell it. That is what they're trying to do. So these people that work for manufacturers, and they get paid because they get free items. I get free items too, so I'm getting paid by sellers. They are in a pickle. They are in a position where they are not able to give their full, honest, 100% opinion, which is ironically usually at the beginning of their statements, like, this is 100% honest. It's my... No, it's not. No, it's not. Nobody's thought that since I came into the hobby, and everybody knows that till this day. That's not true. If you do not go by what they want you to do, you will not be amongst the first to receive the next item, if at all. This is different. These people are different, and that's why their reviews sound different and look different. These people, if they're smart, and there's a lot of stupid people, there's a shit ton of bloggers right now, and a lot of them really suck. They have no sense whatsoever. Post a graph with no impressions to back it up whatsoever, and let people look at it and say, I don't like that dip, I'm not going to buy that. You just fuck the seller, because instead of giving them feedback and saying, this is what the graph looks like, I'm going to go ahead and put this with my thoughts. If you give it some context, you just throw the graph out there and allow a portion of the purchase public to say, that's not my thing, without them realizing that your graph might be not really accurate. And graphs have a piece of the puzzle, but it's just a piece. But to be first, because this is a competitive group, these promoters, and I've been saying for months, to get it into the public's hands. The public is going to determine the long-term success of an item, not these people. And I asked for a couple items. I said, send it to me. Because I like it, I'm gonna promote it, and hold off on sending it to other people just for a little while. Let it get into the people's hands first, and let's see if it matches my impressions or if it doesn't, because that's going to be the direction. Because they got to pay money to the manufacturer. These are not free units that they're getting. These were paid for, maybe at discount from Fearless Audio, from iBasel, from a company. They get it at a cheaper price, but they're still sending those out to these promoters. They got to pay for this. So it's free for you, but they actually got to pay for this. So they want to know if something's good or not good so that they can make purchase requests or orders, because they want stuff coming in and going out. My drum that I've been banging for a long time is get it into the customer's hand as soon as you can. Watch what they say, because their critical feedback, people say, oh, they paid for it, so of course they... I saw somebody that is actually used by the same seller that as me, that kind of mocked the customers, and I thought that's why you are B-level resurrectionist review type person. You have no fucking sense. The customer's God. God. If they don't buy, they don't make money. End of the fucking story. These people are very, very, very important. Instead of sending this and saturating the market with happy, happy awesomeness, and then other people that want to be like rebels and say it's not that great, not because they think it's not that great, just because they want to be different and seem like they're going against the grain, get it into the customer's hand as soon as you can and pay attention to what the feedback is early. Or actively try to inquire as to what they think about it. And then make your purchases based on them. Because that's what they do. They get feedback from the customer directly through various forms, and then they make their purchase decisions based on that. Not fucking sellers. This is a different model, and it requires the promotion of people, but at the end of the day, it's the customer that's going to determine the success of the item that they're stocking or not. And whatever is the result, they don't care, because they will order the other item that is popular, not the one that is being said to not be popular. Can you understand what I'm saying? So the people that are manufacturers and they send it to their friends of team, they have a very specific motivation. It's very obvious. Please don't argue it. You're ignoring common sense and economics. They want their item put in the best light possible. That is not negotiable. Anything that you don't find to be appealing, please contact them and let them know before so that they can fix that. And if it doesn't really make it into the review, that would be fine with them. But definitely highlight the good points, and enthusiastically would be ideal. And the people that do so, enthusiastically endorse iBaso, Empire Ears, Campfire Audio, will be contacted the next time they have an item, because they can be trusted by the company to do no harm. I get it. I'm not bashing any part of the system, but it is a different system than this. They are sellers like 7-Eleven. They want to stock their shelves with what you want. What is that? They don't give a fuck. You buy it, they have it, you buy it from them, that's what they want. Different animal. It should be fucking clear. 17 minutes. This is something that people are going to watch that are in this scenario and are going to say, what the fuck is he doing? And what I'm doing is, I'm doing you a favor. Because you are being lumped in with this, and you are not the same thing. And anybody who's been paying attention for any period of time can see the difference between manufacturer-supplied items and the reviews that they get, and the people who are regularly parts of those teams, and then the scattershot, changing and trying different people and trying to get, that goes with this. And the people that say an item is not good receive items again. They don't deny the future ability to receive something because you didn't like it, because you're part of them estimating what the future purchase model should be. You're helping them. Ideally, before you bomb them publicly, you let them know privately and say, this thing is fucked up, that thing is fucked up. Give them a heads up, but in no way do you adjust your thinking. As a matter of fact, I've never been asked it's only been a year actually that I've been dealing with Linsol. I've never actually been even alluded to. I've said this before in a video, and I want to say this again. I sent a mail once that I probably shouldn't have sent, but I said, man, I'm sorry, but this thing is really not that great. And it is what it is. And that video is coming out tomorrow. And I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, because I got to protect my own credibility. And the reply that I got was, if you don't like this item, but you do like another item, that makes the other item maybe more appealing, because you're not liking everything that you receive. And I was stunned by that, because that is genius level stuff. We don't care about the item itself. We care about what is going to be popular, and identifying what that is with your and other people's help, and getting that item so that we can provide it to the customer, and they come back to us next time because we have the goods that they want. That's the goal. That is not the goal here. It's very different. So for the people on fucking the internet, I saw some people commenting saying, kind of ridiculous shit. Know the way that the system works. There are two branches to this tree, only two branches to this tree, and they're very, very different. And my contribution to this hobby when I leave is that I've been banging a drum and saying, get it to the customers as soon as you can. These people will sink or swim, myself, sink or elevate an item, and it's a subjective hobby. It could bear out to be different down the road. So to avoid that and to be different from other people, get it into the customer's hands as soon as you can, relative to some initial, like, we got an item coming out, so that these two things are coming in parallel. That, and instead of you're swamped with a bunch of reviews that are, this is awesome, I'm not so sure about that, I think I'll pass on this, and then you got the customers coming in with all of this pre-info. A couple people get the item based on their past history of being able to move items, or because people follow their word, and then get it into customers' hands as soon as you possibly can, and then watch what they say, because their words, is going to determine the longevity and the overall sales of the item. And that was not being told to them by other people, because as I was saying that, they were saying, that sounds like a really smart idea. And I said, man, 7-Eleven doesn't care about anything except keeping the customer. And whatever that item is, Customer decides, because customer walks in and picks. That tasted like shit. I'm going to drink the other drink. So they buy the other drink more than Coca-Cola. So, okay, next time we make our orders, we're going to order more of that than we will Coca-Cola. It's very simple. It's the same thing that these sellers are doing. They want you to buy from them. Can you understand? What that item is not really that big a deal to them. So this paranoid thing about, people being attached, I can kind of get it, but on this side, it's absolutely clear. And it's been in the hobby since it's been online. People know that this person works with this company, and they always work with it. FIO sends me stuff, even though I've disliked lots of their stuff, because they're so huge. So in that way, FIO, because they don't do this, FIO gets used as a comparative by many people. They'll take the iBaso 220 and compare it with the 11 and say, this is a ridiculous compare, it doesn't work. And they're not afraid of not getting an opportunity with FIO, because FIO is so big they don't really care about that. They don't give a shit. FIO does stuff in China and does their release and works out the bugs and then sells it in the West. That's why something like iBaso is having shutdowns, overheating, lag issues, because they didn't release it for 5 months in China before and learn what the problems were. They're learning it with you. You are basically a beta tester. FIO is big enough not to have to do that. They can use their own citizens as beta testers and then protect their image abroad by having as good an item as possible released to their non-Chinese purchasers. So the people that are sellers have very different motivations than these people. They want to sell the item. That's it. End of story. Whoever helps us do that the best is on our team. Everybody else is not on our team. These people want to know what is the best item via some of these people so that you buy it from them. And if it's a different item, they will order that different item. And my thing, again, for the last time, is the customer. The customer is the one that is going to determine, the same as 7-Eleven and Coca-Cola, how long and how big an item lives and the profit that is achieved by you being a seller of that item. The customer is God is a dogma to some, and in this hobby, I think it should be a dogma for the seller. I think you should pay attention to the customer more than you should the promoters, because the promoters are really just giving a first look and giving impressions, and the graphs will give people warnings, but these are the people that are going to determine the overall success of an item. So there's 24 minutes. I figured I should do this. Manufacturers and their team are totally separate from sellers and their team. They have very clear, obvious goals. You help them with their goals, or you are gone. I've been gone. I don't even get replies from some companies because I didn't do what the other people do. Enthusiastically endorse the item. There's no such pressure here. Do you like it? No. Why? Because of this. Okay. Ask a few other people. And then they'll make purchase decisions on that. I said, in addition to what you're doing, pay a lot more attention, and they're doing it now via Discord and other things, to the consumer feedback, because that's really what's going to make it. You're going to get a better sense of purchase numbers because of them than because of me or these people. So that's the difference. That's 25 minutes. This doesn't help my channel at all. I'm giving you, like, I'm pulling the curtain back of the hobby and showing you something that you should know already, but I'm putting it on paper and you're looking at it visually. This is something that I think people who are confident, like the people I deal with, I hope, won't have a problem with, but everybody else will, because I'm basically saying that these are all compromised people because of their position requires them to be so, because if they don't play that game, or everything these companies release is consistently great to awesome. That's bullshit. I know that personally. So this is it. You're watching videos and reading reviews of people that are in this side, or you're watching videos done by people on this side. And they're all promoters with different levels of pressures and ramifications for what they say. If someone on this side says that this thing's not that great, they adjust their purchase. If someone says that this thing is not great, you might not be getting contacted next time. That's not paranoid, that's my own personal experience. I have other stories I could tell you specifically, but I thought that this would be something that should maybe be done. And I'm out. Ripping shows live on stage with hoes yelling my name. To be precise, ripping mics is